Let me ask you first about what I just mentioned there, this White House notification today that members of the administration's coronavirus task force won't be allowed to testify at any time this entire month unless the White House chief of staff gives a permission slip. To me, it just strikes me as a strange sort of proclamation. I wonder if this was something you expected or if this was a surprise to you.
Well, it's not surprising because Donald Trump and his administration, by and large, have just shied away from the truth. They don't want to admit the reality. President Trump said a month ago, every American who wants a test can get a test. Well, obviously, that is not even close to true. And you know, Rachel, the longer they don't admit the truth, and the longer they don't admit to listen to the scientists, the longer this crisis is going to last, and even worse, it's more likely to come back a second and third time. So frankly, this president who only looks out for himself is even hurting himself by shying away, by putting his head in the sand, by not admitting the truth. You know, we Democrats, you're right, we came back today so Mitch McConnell could confirm a right-wing, very divisive judge, a judge who even said that the Chief Justice was wrong when he didn't get rid of the ACA, even at a time when people are desperate for health care. And that's why we're coming back. It's unbelievable. There is nothing on the floor this week about COVID. We asked McConnell at least to have hearings and bring up so they could get real questions, not, you know, when a reporter asks them a question, asked the president or one of his people at the White House, the president cuts them off. In a hearing like this, a real focused hearing, you could ask question after question, and we asked that Fauci and Birx and Mnuchin and Powell and others all come forward. We don't have those hearings this week. Now they say they may have Fauci next week, but who can believe that, given what Mark Meadows said and given that they pulled him away from the House? So by not telling the truth, by not hearing the truth, by not listening to the scientists, they are prolonging this crisis. They are prolonging how bad the economy will be. They are prolonging the agony of this country. It's appalling. So does it surprise me? No. Does it upset me? A lot.